Hi to all the fans of House of the Dragon TV show. It's really been an exciting one. First episode dropped already, and we are looking forward to the next episode in the coming week. So in the previous video, I mentioned we're going to come up with the summarized version or recap of the House of the Dragon, and we've got every bit of details for you. So stay tuned and don't skip any part of this video. Fan of Game of Thrones, automatically you would definitely be a fan of the House of the Dragon, and we just want to urge all of you to watch the House of the Dragon on HBO. You get a full glimpse of the story, enjoy the show, the characters, the suspense, the thrilling moments, and everything. So guys, let's just get into this. So in the House of the Dragon season 1 episode 1, we saw that King Viserys and Rhaenys were battling for the throne. That is how we see it. They needed a successor for the predecessor, and they didn't want a woman to be on the throne, so they chose King Viserys. Now the episode moves on where we see the lifestyle of King Viserys, his family, the throne, how he's been able to maneuver things ever since he became king. And the episode introduces us to his family, as well as he being desperate for a son. And in the Targaryen house, they never wished or never assumed that a woman can be or should be a queen or be sitting on the Iron Throne. So it was a kind of a worry for her that if he passes on, who will be who will succeed his throne. And so King Viserys was very worried. He was desperate, always looking out for how he would be able to get a son. But funny enough, we happen to know that the wife was already pregnant, and in the middle of the series we see that the wife had a couple of miscarriages here and there. They've lost a couple of kids, and the husband was trying to, the king, which is King Viserys, was trying to encourage the woman that he's seen the dream and he believes that this time is going to be a son. They are going to have a son, and he had not named the kid then, but at that moment he named the kid. Although spoiler alert, we had the name as Balon, but things didn't go the way it was, and I think it's just sad that way. So King Viserys sits with his lords discussing the heir of the throne, and it seems it is a worry for most of the lords. Now this portion is where we see the antagonist, the protagonist, and all that. We see that Lord Corlys seems to be against and always trying to defend the throne. He never sided with Lord Otto Hightower. He never sided with him, and even with the king. But with this sort of thing, there's always a hierarchy where people have to respect order. And in the House of the Dragon, I think that is what we see, and that is what we expect to see. And even in the Game of Thrones, it was always there. Now jumping on, we saw Daenerys also sitting on the dragon, and she drove the dragon to where the dragons are kept, and quickly she walks into the house, meets the mother, exchange greetings, and they make jokes about how she smells like a dragon and how she believes she's a warrior and not to be sitting down with maids and all that. One thing we never noticed is that the demeanor of Rhaenyra doesn't really matches with that of Daenerys, who was in Game of Thrones. Rhaenyra is more of an affable person. She's friendly, she likes to laugh and smile. But when you compare that to Daenerys, no. But the looks, I think they really did well with that, and the looks is just amazing. The hair, the way she walks, and the way she talks, well, certainly runs in the house of the Targaryen. So let's just skip that and keep moving on. Now we see that the king has been desperate for a son, and he decides to organize a tournament to welcome the newborn. And we see that Prince Daemon, as the season started, has been very manipulative. I think one of the characters that we could mention that has been very manipulative is Prince Daemon, and he is just eager to be a king, or he's looking to fight to be on the Iron Throne. But the laws don't believe he's capable of doing that, and it's not just because he's not capable, but because of the demeanor he depicts, the character he depicts to the people in the house of Targaryen, or to the laws. They don't feel he deserves that honor. But when somebody wants something, they keep fighting for it. So we'll see Prince Daemon in the next episode doing what he has to do. We don't want to drop any spoiler alert. We just want to enjoy the show, and then keep coming back as we give you more gist. Now, Prince Daemon chooses the hand of the son, the first son of the hand of the king, Lord Otto, in the battle. It was just a way to threaten Lord Otto after their back and forth or banter at the high table. But fortunately and unfortunately, Prince Daemon wins, but didn't really harm Otto, although he was injured. And you could see the father of the hand of the king was really boiling. You could see that his son was in pain and he was boiling up. He comes back after winning, and then she comes back and seeks the favor of Alicent Hightower, the daughter of Otto Hightower. And even before the lady picked the flower to hand over to Prince Daemon, she looked at the father, and then you could tell that she also panicked a little bit, because she knows the banter or the differences that has always been happening between the father and then Prince Daemon. But customs is customs, laws are laws, orders are orders. Now we move on to another marvelous scene where we realize that the wife of the king, King Viserys, she was in labor, huge labor, and at that point the king knew he was going to get a son, but he didn't know how complicated it was going to be. Now we see that the maids or the people working, or the wife comes to the king and informs him that at this point, man, you need to choose one or they both die. It dawns on King Viserys, and he's thinking, okay, should I get a son or kill my wife, or should both die? Now he knows that he has no son, and Rhaenyra is not the heir of the throne, so he needs someone to occupy, especially a male. I mean, that is what we know so far. So now King Viserys just doesn't really think that much, and he asks about the odds, and then he says, okay, let's do it. Whatever we have to do, let's do it. Well, the sergeant gives King Viserys the idea of what could be, or what the outcome could be, and then the king was not in any hesitation. He just wants a son. He wants someone to replace him when he is gone. This was very sad. Unfortunately, the mother couldn't make it, and that was very obvious. We all expected it because the king had already made a selfish choice, which I think we'll be talking about in another episode after this video. The king made a selfish choice and gave birth to a son. After the son was brought forth, not even 48 hours got to the son, and the son also passed away. Now the king, as much as he could be strong, could not stand it, and kept weeping and in so much agony and pain. After the burial of the wife of the king, we see that Otto calls her daughter and tells the daughter, you know something, you need to visit the king and keep him company and comfort him. Alicent, being a young girl, would just have to obey what the father said, but there was an ulterior motive behind this, and we don't want to give you any spoiler alert. Whatever happened, we don't know what happened at the moment at that particular scene, but we saw that Alicent used to read books to these people, and he took a book to the dorm or the room of the king and read a book to the king. We don't know what happened, and we will just keep you to keep watching this series to see whatever that really happened in. But the gist of it, and the spoiler alert, is that it's just a plan of Otto to be part of the Targaryen family. Now the episode goes on and we see one of the annoying characters, and I'm sure people will just agree with me that he's been annoying, Prince Daemon celebrating the death of Balon, the son of King Viserys, who just lived less than 48 hours. It was uncalled for, even though he was trying to do whatever he wanted to do to make certain claims of the throne. And it looked like the king had this information in his ears. Prince Daemon is called to meet the king, or was summoned to the king, and this time his ego, pride and anger was heightened. He did not face the king as a king, but faced him as his brother, but he was corrected at that moment. It just looks like King Viserys knew what was really happening to him, and he was in denial, and therefore he needed to find someone to replace him as soon as possible. The conversation goes on between King Viserys and Prince Daemon, and the king questions Prince Daemon whether he made that statement. Obviously, he made the utterances. Well, it's just the way he puts it that made it. We all have a way we mourn our death,
mourn our
and
own way.
this puts King Viserys in an anger mode, and he had to send them back to Runestone. And Prince Daemon was fuming, out of anger.
You're weak, Viserys.
Now, let's just point out something here. Prince Daemon didn't just call King Viserys a weak king because of his physique or not being able to fight in a battle. There was something that Prince Daemon has seen. During the episode, he sneak peeked and started listening to the conversation of the lords and the king, and he knew that this king, or my brother, is weak, and I am the next heir to the throne. But unfortunately, nobody's voting for him. When you look at the episode 1, you can tell there are just about 3 people looking to sort of vote for Prince Daemon, supposing he wants to fight for the throne. The king's life is coming to an end, and we will give you that spoiler alert, because in one of the episodes you can see that, not even one of the episode, in episode 1 you can see that he had a wound at his rib section where the healer was trying to heal, and the healer makes a comment that he's been working on the wound for so many number of times, but it's not really healing as he expected to see. King Viserys made an utterance thinking, I just got hurt from sitting on the throne, or something just pierced me while I was sitting on the throne. But well, we'll leave that one. There is something that will give you a gist on, and we'll just let you know. We'll just let you watch the series and then come back to share your comments and what you think about what Prince Daemon mentioned to King Viserys about he being weak. Well, the scene closes where Prince Daemon says bye-bye to a dragon, and we see the king as King Viserys ushering the daughter and giving her the history of the house of Targaryen, and puts her as a heir of the throne, or as a successor if he passes on. They all swear the oath and are pledged to protect Princess Rhaenyra for as long as they can, because she being the heir of the throne, she needs to be protected. It's been one exciting episode, and there are so many things that will be coming up with, and our next video will be talking about why Prince Daemon called King Viserys weak. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We'll be bringing you more thrilling and exciting reviews on the House of the Dragon. Peace out.